What we're showing today is Communities, which is Salesforce's collaboration product, and we've combined that with CloudCraze by EDL Consulting. CloudCraze is a commerce application delivered natively on top of Salesforce. So everything we're looking here, all the images, all the HTML, all of this functionality is delivered straight from Salesforce. There's no other clouds or servers or anything else involved. We're showing this in the context of LuxBev distributors. Now, that's a fictitious brand that will help us show some of the functionality we've delivered in the beverage distribution industry. And we're showing, a robust commerce site, but also showing the ability to incorporate communities. So as I click on this Communities tab, I can see that Chris Reynolds, who we're logged in as here, has the ability to browse and join other communities such as craft beers, other event planners. Chris is an event planner in the country for high end events, as well as those interested in vintage wine. Um, Chris has the ability to collaborate privately with his account team at LuxBev using this collaboration space. So he's got a variety of vehicles available to him. He's got public collaboration spaces where he can start communicating with other folks that have similar interests. And then he's got a private communication space where he can collaborate with his account team. Let's see how that might work for him. So as we go to the event planning community, we can see that Chris has put a message out there and he's asked the community for a recommendation for port for an upcoming event. There's another community member who is event planner elsewhere in the country, Mike, and he can recommend this product to him and say that he had a good luck with it and provide some more examples. We also have the ability for Lisa Hendricks, who is a community manager at LuxBev. She can kind of pile on to this request and point Chris more specifically to the particular product that Mike was referring to. And that really accelerates his shopping experience because it gets him the information right there at his fingertips. So he can drill right from the collaboration space back into the commerce experience, right to the product, and add a couple of cases to his shopping cart. He'd like to add more cases. He'd like to have 4, but there's a quantity restriction on this item. Although he sees that he maybe can work through that at the time of checkout. We're going to get to that in a minute, but we're going to add the 2 cases right now. So we've added those 2, and Chris in his workday likes to also make sure that he's got the inventory he needs for the other items that he might order. So he likes to take his iPad and walk around in the back office and see what he might add to his order. And I'm going to simulate that iPad by just shrinking the screen and showing you that we can produce that mobile experience using CloudCraze and Salesforce. We've changed the whole menu structure to accommodate this form factor. And we've gone from a 3-column site down to a 2-column site, and he can walk around and add to his order accordingly. So I'm just going to add a couple more products to his cart. And add them like that. Pull this back out to a desktop and say view the cart. So here we've got the shopping cart, as you might imagine. We've got the 2 cases of port. We'd like to have 4, and we see that we've got a button available to us to request that exception we talked about earlier. So in addition to just commerce and collaboration, Chris has the ability to interact with his account team using this whole site integrated with communities. And he can say, can I get an exception? I need an additional 2 cases of the port for an event this weekend. And what's really great about being able to provide this functionality on Salesforce is not only do I have the collaboration capabilities, not only do I have the high-end e-commerce experience I can create, but this is really integrated with a world-class CRM system. So I can look up in one integrated database my account team, direct this communication to Susan Gunther, and write that into the private collaboration space that I talked about with LuxBev and Party Bevco. So this is that private collaboration space. Nothing written here is shared beyond Chris and his account team at LuxBev. And we can see the request that he's made got written here along with a link to the cart. So he's ready to go, and this he can always come back to this and refer to it. Doesn't need to hunt and peck through his emails to find out what the status is. We're going to change our perspective now, and we're going to go take a look at what Susan Gunther might see. And again, she's the CSR, the customer service rep that's associated with this account. And as I refresh her screen and take a look at her chatter, I see that Chris's request has been written directly into her chatter stream. So she, again, doesn't need to hunt and peck through emails. She doesn't have to go searching for cases. It's right here natively in chatter. But a case has been created along with that link. Here's some details of that case now. She can drill into that case from here and start working on his request. As she looks at the case, she notices not only does she have the normal detail about a case, which is standard Salesforce functionality, but she also sees that John Sebastian is following the case. Now, John is an inventory manager for LuxBev, and he's asked that any questions related to inventory that he automatically follows those cases so he can collaborate and get those solutions more effectively. So using standard Salesforce functionality, we created workflows that automatically have him following the case. So Susan, seeing that, can type and just do an at mention for John and say, John, can we make this happen? Chris is a great customer. And post that comment. Coming back now as John, I can look at his home screen and his chatter and see now that this has been written straight to his chatter stream as well. So he's not hunting and pecking through emails, as I said, and he's got all the context he might need. He doesn't even have to really go into the case. He sees what he's being asked to do, and he can look up in his inventory system and find out his answer and respond back accordingly. So he can say, Susan, this will be no problem. Go ahead and allow it. So he posts back to chatter and gets that answer right back to Susan. Going back to Susan's screen and the case, we see his answer has been written back. And she can now go ahead, she's got the go ahead, and she can fix the problem and add those additional 2 cases and really satisfy the request. So by doing that, really she doesn't have to do anything more than drill into the cart, which is the physical cart that Chris has been working on. She can go directly there because it's one integrated database again, update to 4 cases of port, and update the cart accordingly. So now she's updated, she's got the 4 cases, and she really just needs to close out the case and respond back to the customer. To respond, she doesn't even have to leave the screen. She can write that directly through a button we've created and say, Chris, you are good to go. I have added the cases to your cart. Check out when you are ready. She shares that back, closes the case as she normally would using standard functionality. And to kind of close the loop on this, let's take a look and see what Chris sees. So Chris is in the collaboration space for Party Bevco again, and he sees his request, Susan's response that he's good to go. Again, you see none of the internal employee to employee collaboration between Susan and John. You don't see any of the other event collaboration out there generally. This is the collaboration space that's private between he and LuxBev. From here, he can again drill straight into the cart and continue his shopping experience. He can go ahead and check out whenever he's ready and he sees that the 4 cases are there. Um, so this really concludes our demo and hopefully gives you an idea of how communities integrated with Salesforce and integrated with CloudCraze can create an enhanced experience beyond what any of those could do alone. Thank you very much.